Problem number 9 from worksheet H12-6. We have the sine of x over 1 minus the cosine of x. We're adding to that fraction a second fraction, the sine of x over a 1 plus cosine of x. And we want this to end up equaling 2 times the cosecant of x. Since I have fractions on the left, I'm going to try to make those equal the right side. Each of our fractions has a different denominator, so first thing I would do is work on making a common denominator. That's my cat. His name is Bambi. He wants me to tell you hello and that you're doing a great job. Keep putting in the effort. All right, so back to it. Our common denominator would be, 1 plus the cosine of x times 1 minus the cosine of x. So we're going to have to multiply each side of that fraction by the expression that it's missing. So like our left fraction right now would be 1 plus the cosine of x times 1 minus the cosine of x. Right, and on the top we would have a 1 plus the cosine of x in parentheses times the sine of x. Then we have plus, on the other side we would have to multiply by the 1 minus cosine of x on each side. So we have a sine of x times a 1 minus the cosine of x all over that same denominator, 1 plus cosine of x times 1 minus cosine of x. Okay, so what has this done for us so far? Well, now we can combine it into one fraction, and you may have skipped that last step and just gone right to this next step, and that's fine. So what I've got here is 1 plus the cosine of x, right? Still just times my sine of x. I'm not doing anything to the numerator in this step. I'm just rewriting it. Right, so it's just over one denominator, so it's one fraction. All right, so what does this do for us? Let's see. We could take this, and if you're not sure what to do, remember we can't cancel out the 1 plus cosines of x's and the 1 minus cosines of x's. That's not going to work. But let's see here. We've got two terms on the top, right? We've got, whoops, wrong tool. So we have this term and we have this term. So as we look at it, okay, we could think about saying here that we have a common factor, right? They both have a sine of x in there. So we could factor out that sine of x. Factor out that sine of x. Let's see what we would have left over, right? We would have this part left over plus this part. So that would be a 1 plus the cosine of x plus a 1 minus the cosine of x. Let me factor that out. And let's just, right now it's over the same denominator. Let's just save some time and space. 1 plus 1 gives us 2, but the cosine of x plus a negative cosine of x are going to cancel out. So right now what we have is 2 times the sine of x left on the top. Okay, well, that's good, right? Because we see that we have this 2 in ours, but it's cosecant that we have on the right side of the identity. So then let's go down to the bottom. If I have 1 plus cosine of x times 1 minus cosine of x, isn't that like an a plus b times an a minus b? So we know when we do that, we'll get an a squared minus b squared. So let's go ahead and do that, right? If I go ahead and FOIL that out, I'm going to get a 1 minus cosine squared x in the bottom. We just FOILed it. And that is a Pythagorean identity, right? 1 minus cosine squared x is the same thing as a sine squared x. And since we have the sine of x on the top as a factor, and we have a sine of x times a sine of x on the bottom, we can cancel one of them out. So now we're going to have 2 over just a sine of x. And, I know some of us get a little confused on this part because they're like, why don't we flip the whole thing over? Remember, this is the same thing as saying 2 over 1 times 1 over the sine of x. And you could take it and flip just the 1 over the sine of x and make it the cosecant. So we have 2 times the cosecant of x, which is what we're going for, right? 2 times the cosecant of x. And that would be our answer. Right? We have verified that this is true. So that is problem number 9 from H12-6. Hopefully that answered your questions. If you have additional questions, just hold on to them. Let me know. Or if you did this a different way and you're not sure, just let me know and I will check it over and let you know if it works or not. Thanks for watching.